Welcome back to the Albert and Billy Show. We are joined with some special guests right now, aren't we, Papa?
Very special.
Yeah, they're from the play The Front Page News. We've got Austin and Rick, both playing characters in the hit play The Front Page News, which has been performed over there in Dayton. It's about the Scopes trial, but how many years have they been doing this?
This is our 6th or 7th year doing Front Page News. That's
good.
We've been doing the reenactment since 1988.
Oh, really?
That's 30 years.
Gosh, that's 30 years.
Yeah. So and we do it every year at on the anniversary of when the Scopes trial actually took place.
I didn't realize that. Did you?
Of course, what makes the event unique is you're actually recreating history. It's more than just a play. You're doing it in the actual courtroom where it took place. You're sitting in a chair and the furniture. The audience is sitting in the same chair that the spectators were sitting in 1925.
Way. That's awesome.
Other than the air conditioner,
there you go.
the room has been preserved. So that makes it a real special treat that you're exchanging this historic dialogue in the very room where it took place.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool, and I didn't realize that. I'm sure Dan's told me that, and I forgot, but that's pretty cool. I like that.
Well, you know, it's a very significant piece of our history. You know, when the Butler Act was passed in 1925, the discussions around evolution and the teaching of it, the country was very divided, and the arguments were very passionate. There's no doubt that when Darrow and the ACLU got involved in this, every attorney on the defense saw a Supreme Court case. You know, something, of course, they'd be looking forward for them, but as we look back, something on the significance of Brown versus the Board of Education, or Roe v. Wade, or
those are two big ones.
Or just as we had in 2015, Oberfeld versus Hagen.
Oh yeah.
So you know, they expected that. Of course, Darrow was disappointed because they knew they would lose at the local level. But he expected to lose also at the Tennessee Supreme Court so he could get it to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Right.
But the Tennessee Supreme Court pulled a bit of a trick on him.
What did they do?
Well, in that time, the justices were elected. So they were up for re-election.
Okay.
And, you know, this law was very popular. So they had to figure out a way to get out of it. So they overturned the conviction on a minor technicality, and rather than strike down the law. And that technicality was that the circuit court judge was limited in the fine that he could impose to $50. And anything above $50, anything above a four-door Model T costs you $290.
Goodness.
So that gave you a reference to $50, right?
Wow.
So, but the jury had to impose any fine greater than that. Well, the jury declined to impose. Judge Ralston imposed a fine of $100, which, as I said, Mr. Bryan paid for Mr. Scopes. And you know, and the Tennessee law basically sat on the books till 1967, when following Epperson versus Arkansas, a teacher in Arkansas, Susan Epperson, got it all the way to the Supreme Court. And of course, the Supreme Court struck down every kind of law. And Tennessee legislature just quietly buried it in a bill, so it made no headlines.
That was smart.
And got it off the books.
On their part.
40 years.
But to talk about the event as a whole, again, we do it on the anniversary of the trial, so we always try to do it around the 3rd week of July. The trial took place July 10th through the 21st, 1925. We open for our performance this year on the 20th. We'll do
July 20th.
July 20th.
At the Ray County Courthouse, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
In the actual courtroom.
That's amazing.
And we'll perform Friday night, Saturday matinee, Saturday evening, and Sunday.
Right.
And then we will perform the following weekend, Saturday matinee, Saturday evening, and Sunday. So it's 7 performances.
Okay, so it's 2 weekends back to back, correct? Okay.
The key weekend will be the opening weekend. That's when we have the actual festival. There'll be a car show, there'll be crafters, basket weavers, things of this nature. We have a bluegrass festival that goes on outside. So we kick it up pretty good for the opening weekend.
You kick it off with a bang, don't you?
What's the seating capacity inside?
Yeah.
It's about, we've had, I think the largest we've had in there is around 240. You know, that's another myth. You know, the reports back then said as many as 1,000 people were in the courtroom. They moved the court outside because it was causing stress cracks in the first floor ceilings. The judge inspected and moved the session out proceedings outside on Monday, the 20th.
Now, is this a myth or is this
No,
fact?
that is true. That part is true. The actual examination of Brian by Darrow, which is the pinnacle of the trial, actually took place while they were outside. So there were more than 1,000 people in the crowd then.
Okay, so that's really true then.
But actually, we've done the thing. We measured the courtroom to settle that argument. You could probably get about 400.
Oh, you could?
You know, that's shoulder to shoulder.
Well, I'm sure that all of the press had precedent.
Between the press, you know, there were 7 lawyers on each side. Then there were private court reporters that Darrow hired, and
really?
we had the expert witnesses, and it was a zoo.
I bet it was.
No doubt, and it was extremely hot.
July.
Middle of July.
I bet it was not as hot outside as it was inside because the crowd inside made it hotter.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's even a line in the script about like, we're moving this outside because there might be a breeze, and like, I can't stand to sit in here any longer. The judge says it, bangs his gavel, and we go outside from there on. It's pretty funny.
Hey Austin, did you wear a tie?
I think I'll be wearing one. I haven't seen my costume yet, so yeah. I hope I'd be wearing one.
Because you would want to be presentable.
Oh yeah.
You're the center of attention.
Yeah, Austin plays the main character.
Well, I think Darrow and Brian are, but you know.
You two are the main characters, I take it, correct?
No.
One of the things one of the other things that I always like to share about this, and when people, like I said, I've been in the performance now 26 years.
Whoa.
And, in some capacity. And this is, I've lost count whether my 6th year, I think, is Darrow. But one thing that I always, you know, some of us are old enough, we remember Inherit the Wind, which was loosely based on.
Do you remember the Papa?
Yeah. It was a Broadway play and made a movie in 1960, which actually premiered in Dayton. United Artists came to Dayton to premiere.
Really?
But it's Matthew Brady and Henry Drummond are the key attorneys, and of course Drummond just beats Brady to death, and he dies and collapses on the stand. Because that's kind of the way it was reported. But the truth is, Darrow got upset with the court on Friday when he realized that he was not going to be able to bring any of his expert witnesses for testimony. So he spent the entire weekend with one of the expert witnesses, Kirtley Mather.
Who now?
Kirtley Mather. He was a geologist from Harvard. And basically he did a rehearsal of the examination of Brian. You know, the 50 unanswerable questions in the Bible. Where did Cain get his wife?
Right.
You know, if God punished the serpent by making him crawl around on his belly, how did he move around before he was punished? Did he stand up on his tail? So, you know, and Darrow had rehearsed these questions. He spent the entire weekend.
Yeah.
He called Brian to the stand on Monday, and bam, laid this on him. And if you read
he wasn't prepared for that.
If you read the actual trial transcript, Brian did an amazing job of defending the Bible and defending those unanswerable questions. Utterly amazing, considering that the master attorney of the time, the guy who had all the questions, the guy who got Leopold and Loeb off.
Really?
Because he argued society was responsible for their crime. And
Brian could not have known what questions he was going to ask him.
No. So that's you know, and I think we've tried to do that over the years to you know, show that a little more of what actually did happen, as opposed to what you'll read in the newspapers and you'll see in the.
So the show kind of sticks more to the facts.
We try to.
Right. Okay.
But we do a lot, with this performance, there's a lot of singing and entertainment for time passage and scene transitions. When I first got involved years ago, we did 90%, at least 90% of the words exchanged were from the actual trial transcript. So it was extremely dry and it could get long. If you weren't a history buff or an attorney,
you'd be asleep in the stands. Yeah.
This is entertainment for the entire family. We've seen our demographics graphically change, dramatically change as younger people are coming, enjoying it. Because again,
our newsman,
we try to be
Dan Young, is in the
That's correct.
in the show.
Dan, as everyone I'm sure that knows him realizes, he's very eccentric. Well, he's typecast. Because Dr. John Neal, who was the actually Scopes lead attorney, because he was a Tennessee attorney, so he had to introduce Darrow and the others to the court.
Oh, okay.
He was a very eccentric individual. He had taught at the University of Tennessee, as I kind of, in our casual conversation discussed earlier, left on odd terms.
Oh, really?
He would do things like wear 2 or 3 layers of clothes so that he didn't have to change. When one got dirty, he'd just take it off.
You're kidding.
He had some very odd, but he was a brilliant man.
July.
He was a brilliant man. He was
burning up then.
After he left UT, he started his own law school over in Sweetwater for many years.
He did? I didn't know that.
As Dan mentioned casually earlier, he was very involved in TVA.
Okay.
One of the problems was he'd get these big checks and then he never would cash them. He'd stick them in a book somewhere. As I said, very odd individual.
Yeah, obviously. That is strange.
But actually a brilliant man. Some argued that for his day, he was the most brilliant constitutional lawyer in the country, on the par of an Alan Dershowitz.
Wow.
Really?
And all that took place in that little town of Dayton.
Little town of Dayton.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was small, very small back then.
Very small. Principal employer was Dayton Coal and Iron.
Well, how many students you think might be in the school?
I could have told you that number
sure.
if you hadn't asked, because there was probably, you were talking about graduating classes that were 20 to 50,
yeah, maybe 40.
Wow.
I think might have been a number I ran across in the book I'm reading.
Well, Dayton's grew a lot since then.
And another piece of trivia, Mr. Scopes did not take the stand because, again, he agreed to this. He had substituted in biology. He was actually a math teacher. He was the football coach. And he did substitute, and they were vague about what lesson he covered, but history says that he actually had the boys going over football plays, and that's what they talked about.
I'm a substitute teacher.
They were going over, now which ones do y'all think would be the best one to try in this next game, or that kind of stuff. He was planning out his season and everything, and I'm like,
You know what I tell them?
right.
I tell the kids, I'm not here today to teach you English or math. I'm here to keep you from running away.
That's right.
And as I said, with Mr. Scopes' involvement I mentioned Inherit the Wind. In that production, Bertram Cates is drugged from the classroom in the middle of his lesson by the town founders. Well, Scopes was on the tennis court with one of the Purser boys, and they sent an errand boy after him. So I said, Cates was drugged from the classroom, Scopes was drugged from the tennis court.
Now, do you guys, sorry, Papa, not to interrupt you, but do you guys change up the show each year a little bit?
Oh, you've heard of our director. We do this in cooperation with the Cumberland County Playhouse. And of course the Scopes Festival, and so our lead director is Jim Crabtree.
Okay.
Who was with the Playhouse
He's been
for
on
many
the show,
years.
Actually.
So yes, in some form or fashion, I think we refresh it about every rehearsal. But
rehearsal.
Yes, we're always trying to. We've added a new character. Some, everything that we do. We do tie to historical evidence.
Well, you've got to go by the facts.
Yeah, I mean, we take a little liberty. We came up short the first year on cast member, so the witness Howard Morgan has become Hannah Morgan. But,
okay.
So we take a few liberties here and there.
We play a little bit with that Hannah might have like a slight, interest in her teacher, and so there's
Well,
some
how
little
many
bit going
people
back
can
and forth.
challenge you?
Well,
That's the thing about it.
most of them are dead now, so.
Yeah, that's why
But when I started this, many of them were alive, so that helped get me interested because I got to hear firsthand accounts.
Let me give you an oddity. Years ago, my son was avid fisherman and caught more fish than we could handle. So I found people in town I could give them to.
Right.
One of the families I gave them to, they own this big, large rock house right down here with a rock fence around it. Then they became very good friends of ours. And
The Crandalls?
the Cramels.
Okay.
And after many servings of fillets of fish to them, they called me one day and wanted me to come up to their house. And I'd never been in that house before. I lived in the backyard there in that little rental house one time. But he said, Albert, Ibby and I've got something for you. I said, well, fine. They gave me a transcript of the Scopes trial in 1925.
Really?
And I loaned it to someone and don't remember who I loaned
Never got
it
it
to.
back.
They're still
Never got it back.
available. You can still get them on the internet. Bryan College still sells them, I believe.
I bet, what are they, $100?
No, they're really not. I mean, I'm sure you could if you read them on a tablet, it's like $4.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I thought I had a piece of history there. But I let it go.
It's
get another
actually a
one
very
for
good
it's nothing.
read. Other than when you get into all the expert testimony, which kind of goes on and on, but it's actually a very good
Yeah.
read because there was tremendous humor. You know, when
got two
Darryl was
smart
examining Bryan, Stewart, the DA, tried to interject. And Bryan objected. He said, "I want Mr. Darryl to have all the latitude he wants." And Darryl said, "Oh, you can have latitude and longitude."
Right.
So I mean, there was, there was tremendous humor that went back and
Well, they
That helps.
in back, I don't know about William Jennings Bryan, but in back of Darryl's mind, he knew he was playing with this whole thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, really?
He was a publicity hound.
Yeah.
He was always had been. Some of the other ironies, the characters involved. Darryl actually supported Bryan when in his first bid for presidency, following his Cross of Gold speech, but they grew apart over the years.
Did you know that?
On the defense team, one of the key attorneys was Dudley Field Malone, who was William Jennings Bryan's Undersecretary of State when Bryan was Secretary of State for Wilson.
Yep.
Really?
So Bryan and Mr. Scopes had met before because
Bryan was actually the commencement speaker at Mr. Scopes' high school graduation when he graduated high school. And at some point during Bryan's commencement address, so there was a word or something that made Scopes and his friends just bust out laughing in the middle of this speech, and he thought Bryan was basically going to hate him or something. And then when they meet each other at the trial, Bryan's like, "You're that kid that laughed at my speech all those years ago, but I don't see why we still can't be friends." And so they have the best relationship just going into the trial. Like, this is the dude that he is actually going against prosecution. And then there's this little story that before the trial there was this big lunch or dinner that most of the prosecution, most of the defense got together, and Bryan and Scopes are actually sitting beside each other, and Scopes is barely eating his food, and so he eats like his chicken or something. Then Bryan's like, "Are you going to eat those potatoes and corn?" And he just scrapes it off on his plate, and they're sharing their food like it's nothing, like the trial's happening tomorrow. And it's so funny.
Bryan had a ferocious appetite. And,
Oh, did he?
And in those days, every town had a little garden, had a cow, some chickens, So anyway, as Bryan would walk through town, people would give him fruits and vegetables and stuff. The story was that he carried salt in one pocket and pepper in the other pocket.
Always prepared.
Always prepared. So, and one of the other key characters that we like to talk about is, of course, one of the attorneys and a close friend, one of the key people who convinced Scopes to take on the challenge was Sue Hicks. Sue was named after his mother because she died.
Sue's a man?
Sue Hicks, the inspiration,
Sue.
the inspiration for the
actual
Johnny
one.
Cash song "A Boy Named Sue."
Oh, I was just saying that.
Shel Silverstein, who wrote the song, was actually in Gatlinburg when Hicks, who Ben was a circuit court judge, and he happened to be speaking at this conference.
Wow.
And so
He got to be circuit court judge with that kind of name.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
He actually-
that's off to him.
Yeah, in an interview one time, he said that you know, he never went through anything like that song. Nope, he never got that reaction to the name growing up.
Oh, he didn't?
And I said, well, maybe back at the turn of the century, you could get away with that now, but I don't know what you.
You wouldn't now, that's for sure.
I wouldn't even go with Amy.
Yeah. So anyway, that's some, you know, there's a lot of trivia that you can learn. One other thing I guess I want to share with your audience is we just had a complete renovation of the museum.
Oh, that's down in the basement.
Down in the basement.
Okay.
It's been completely redone. There's an interactive section where you can actually see some history from the trial and see some of our performances.
Okay.
So it's a beautiful, so, you know, certainly want to encourage you to come over, especially the first weekend, that first big Saturday, the 21st. There'll be plenty to do for the whole family. We're going to have a kiddie area with some games and water balloons. I said we have some crafters that the only one that ever comes to mind is the basket weaver. I know we have several others. I keep saying I'd love to get a moonshine guy, but you know that's anyway.
That would be very
That would be unheard of.
That's another legend, and that I always like to clarify in history books, even in Ed Larson's book Summer for the Gods. He said, you know, Darrell spent most of his evenings drinking bootleg liquor with a certain member of the prosecution, which was Ben McKenzie.
Oh, okay.
And of course, people immediately think, well, he was drinking moonshine. Well, no, he and Ben didn't drink moonshine. Ben had now this was Prohibition, so all of it was bootleg.
Yeah.
But Ben would literally have a bottle of London gin driven in every evening via taxi from Chattanooga for he and Darrell's get together.
Because you know good and well that no whiskey illegal would be made on Dayton Mountain.
Well, absolutely. There was plenty of it around. I'm not saying it wasn't around.
That would never happen.
I went to school with a boy that wrote 4 books. And one of the books was The Whiskey Wars.
Yeah, I've read some. I can't
Tom
think of the name. What's his name?
Tom Swafford.
He and I graduated together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good read. I recommend anybody reading those books.
It is a good read.
So
good local history.
before we let y'all go, we want to make sure we get the dates of the show right. It premieres the 20th.
July 20th.
July. And so I guess it'll be the 20th, 21st.
22nd.
Okay. And then the next weekend.
The next weekend. So I don't do calendars that well.
You still be in July.
Yeah, the last weekend of July.
27th,
Last 2 weekends.
Probably 27th, 28th, and 29th.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And we want to tell everybody to come enjoy the show just right across the mountain.
I'm sorry, you can get tickets online.
Okay.
Scopesfestival.com.
Okay.
And you can follow the pages, and so you can order online. We have reserved and general admission.
Okay.
Encourage you to buy them in advance. Limited seating.
Well,
Right, limited seating.
Can't fit 1,000 people in there. So
No, we can't.
1,000 people in there, can we?
and we've enjoyed some sold out audiences. So it's a pretty exciting.
After all this time, but you have new generations. I guess you think automatically, though, as the generations come and go, there would be fewer people as familiar with the story.
Well, as I said, when I started, there were many still alive. F.E. Robinson's daughter was still alive, and she would sit.
He
in
was the
museum.
druggist.
He was the druggist
Right.
who got it all started. His drugstore was where it got started.
member of the school board.
And then Eloise Reed was still alive, and she was. It was her brother that Scopes was playing tennis with.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Eloise Purser Reed. It was her brother, and I can't think of his first name. But anyway, she was actually on like the front row of the bleachers when Darrell examined Brian.
Okay.
So she, she'd say, "Oh, he'd snap those suspenders." And,
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he wasn't the popular person. I mean, Brian was a 3-time presidential candidate. This guy would
Whoa.
speak to crowds of 1,000 before we had microphones.
Yeah, and this is before William Jennings Bryan College.
Of course, that's another thing that we have because of the events.
Right.
5 years after the trial, local citizens got together and started Bryan College. And it actually came up in the trial. There's an exchange.
Oh, really?
Where I think it is Malone says something. Well, you might as well. Talking about trying to get evolution arguments into the trial, he says, if you want to do that, you might as well build a college on that hill. And
really?
What about
Sue
that?
Hicks goes, give us the money, we'll put one up.
That's right.
And there it was,
And the
5 years
rest
later.
is history,
And the
goes.
rest is history.
We still have Bryan College to this day.
Well, I'm glad I got to meet you, Mr. Scopes.
Well, thank you,
Yeah,
Papa.
Mr.
Good to
Scopes,
meet you.
Austin
I
here.
never thought I would meet Mr. Clarence Darrow either.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Austin.
problem. Thank
And
you.
come check them out. Like we said, opening night is July 20th. We have a time on that.
What is it,
7:30?
on opening night?
7:30 opening night, July 20th. It's at
Length
Ray
of
County
the
Courthouse.
play. Length
don't know
of the
that.
play.
Pardon me?
How long?
The play lasts about 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours. We'll have to go check it out, Papa.
Get your money's worth.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
That's right.
I said it's good family entertainment. It's very educational, and as I said right from the beginning, where can you go see something that happened where it actually happened?
That's true.
Good deal.
That's,
Those are rare opportunities.
That's very rare. So take advantage of it, folks. July 20th, opening night of the front page news about the Scopes trial at the Ray County Courthouse. Once again, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having
Good luck on the show, and we may just have to come check it out, Papa.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. Coming up after the break, we'll have some trivia for you.
Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Katie Burns, and I'm excited to talk with you today about how to live well.
Okay, welcome to the Albert and Billy Show on WUAT and Channel 18 Valley TV and YouTube.
My name is Brianna Scott, and I'm the Family and Consumer Science Extension Agent for UT Extension in Bledsoe County.
Hello, I'm Allie Pursley here with Channel 18 Valley TV, and today we're here at the Sequatchie County Veterans Memorial Park to discuss with you about the history of Veterans Day. It is also the United States annually observes Veterans Day on November the 11th.
Have you ever gotten a phone call from a number that looks suspiciously like your own? It has your area code, the first 3 digits are the same as your own number, so you answer it.
Hi, this is Jessica. You've just won a free vacation to the Bahamas.
Don't worry, you're not the only one getting these calls. Tens of thousands of Americans report that they receive these every day from similar numbers. So what are they? They're a specific type of robocall. Typical robocalls are pre-recorded messages, usually for political campaigns, public announcements, and yes, telemarketing. Your run-of-the-mill robocall will be from a randomized number, but now, telemarketers are using a technique called neighbor spoofing. That's what makes the number look similar to yours. The idea is that, well, if the first few numbers look like your own phone number, you'll answer. You may think it's from a relative, an old friend from your hometown, your kid's school, or a neighbor. And robocalling is a lucrative business. Some pretend they're the IRS. Some pretend it's a down payment for a vacation giveaway. In fact, a robocall center uncovered in India in 2016 was found to be generating around $150,000 every day from American consumers. It's estimated that people received around 2.5 billion robocalls per month in 2016. So, are these robocalls illegal? Well, robocalls made by computerized autodialers, they're illegal. They call randomly inputted phone numbers at high speeds. But not all robocalls are illegal. Back in 1991, when telemarketing calls were becoming more prevalent, the Federal Communications Commission created the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. It's been amended many times with the evolving technology of phones, and currently it differentiates legal robocalls from illegal ones. Here's a list of rules that businesses that want to make robocalls need to follow. But the act still hasn't prevented illegal robocalls from happening. In an August 2017 press release, the Federal Trade Commission said that robocalls are its #1 complaint, with more than 1.9 million complaints made within the first 5 months of 2017. The FTC is sending all complaints and attached phone numbers to cell phone carriers and app developers to create better countermeasures. But what are some things you can do to stop robocalls? To start, keep your number to yourself. Don't offer your number if signups or registrations for business services don't require you to. Second, sign up for the National Do Not Call Registry. This registry, set up by the FTC in 2003, won't block all robocalls, but it will block a majority of them. And registration is free. Finally, if you end up getting a robocall, let it go to voicemail. The TCPA states legal robocalls must provide a toll-free callback number to opt out, which you can call immediately after. If the call doesn't leave a voicemail, it may be an illegal robocall, so file a complaint with the FTC on their website. And if you're still getting harassed by what looks like your own number, there are several apps that you can use to block calls, such as No Mo Robo or Calls Blacklist.
Hey, folks.
And don't forget also, as always, check us out on YouTube. You can see all the episodes of the Albert and Billy Show on YouTube. You can get the newest episodes always on my Facebook page. So check it out. Check them out. Sometimes it's fun to go back and look at some of our other episodes. I do that sometimes.
You do?
I do. I'll have to show it to you since you're allergic to computers.
Do you find it?
I'll show it to you.
Do you find it amusing?
I do. I do.
To listen to me or you?
Both of us. And I would love for us to do a blooper reel sometimes because we'd have some dandies, that's for sure.
That's another word for mistakes, isn't it?
Yes. I want to thank our sponsors, as always, for the Albert and Billy Show. We got Citizens Tri-County Bank, North Main Street, Posh Beauty Company, stylist Erica Bice Campbell. She is at, of course, the old State Farm building. Well, hello there. We also have Scotty's right here in downtown Pikeville. Me and Allie ate there yesterday, Papa.
Did you?
I got me a good hamburger steak. She got her a couple little burgers.
I like their little burgers.
Yeah, well, the hamburger steak wasn't too shabby either. It was good.
I might try that sometime.
It was good. Subway over on the bypass. Go get you a good Subway sandwich or breakfast. We always throw that in there, don't we?
Yes.
Bilbrey Insurance on Spring Street. Go see Frank and Susan Bilbrey for all your insurance needs. And Sadie. Can't leave out Sadie, their little dog. Also the Loom, our next door neighbor right here on Cumberland Avenue, owner Judy Yates. Go see her for what, Papa?
Alterations.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of sewing needs, patterns.
Yeah. Flowers.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything. Also, I want to thank the following, politicians, I guess we could say. Emma Boynton, Register of Deeds. Lisa Wheeler, who is the election administrator. Michael Walker, we had him on here just a couple weeks ago. Michael Walker is the circuit court clerk, and that phone beeping is really annoying. I think our producer should put it on her leg so we don't have to hear it. Just a suggestion there, Allie.
You'll quit.
Yeah, probably like 10 minutes or something. Anyway, folks, also Janice Sapp, who took over obviously for the late, finally stopped, the late Carolyn Terry as the county clerk. Thank you, Janice. Thank you to It's Lola's. Go see her. Well, not so new now, but she's been open back about a year, hadn't she?
I guess so.
Right here on Main Street. Go check out her shop. She's got a little bit of everything in there.
Everything.
And it's just 2 blocks from us.
You may not find it, but it's there.
It's there, right by the Starling Cafe. Also, Marvin Smith in the Highway Department. I want to thank them. The Farmhouse Chandelier Cafe and Gifts right behind us here on Cumberland Avenue. And our newest sponsor, well, no, we got 2 new ones actually. The Cowboy Church. I want to thank them. They're on, what is it, Ray Hickson Road?
Ray Hickson Road.
And our newest sponsor, Papa, is the Chinese restaurant, the Hungry Dragon.
I've eaten there.
Yeah, they've got good Chinese food, and we want to tell everybody to go check it out. They are located, they're right behind the Bledsoe County Health Department.
Right.
And
that might be Pope Road you turn.
It's Pope Road, and they are closed on Thursdays, but they're open every other day, including Sunday.
Sunday?
Yeah, so go see them at the Hungry Dragon. If you like Chinese food, definitely go check it out, folks.
Right.
And so thanks to all of our sponsors. And now we want to do this week's trivia.
This week's trivia. And you'll love this.
Oh, I bet I will.
This.
Allie, my lifeline better be prepared.
I can't wait to get started. So here we go. The winner of Super Bowl 52 was...
Wait, is that the most recent?
52.
Wait, this is this week's trivia, right? Okay, it's Philadelphia Eagles.
Philadelphia Eagles. Question number 2. The site of your patella is where in your body?
Allie. Patella, where's patella? Knee?
Knee. You're good. 2 for 2.
And I got those on my own. That's right.
Question number 3. Another word for mutiny.
Allie.
With 5 letters. 5 letters. And begins with the letter R. You got a bunch of sailors on a boat and they want to commit
revolt.
Mutiny. Revolt.
Dang, I'm good.
3 for 3.
And I'm really getting these on my own so far.
All right. Can you describe a part of a compass using 6 letters? Think of a compass.
My lifeline may have to help me.
What goes into a compass? And you got one thing that has 6 letters in it.
Needle.
The needle. Gotta have it.
That's right. Thank you, Lifeline. I'll give you credit. She did have to help me on that one.
The name of one of the Wright brothers, and I don't mean Orville. So there's just one other brother.
I know, but obviously he must not have got talked about as much.
Well, Orville Redenbacher is Popcorn. But what was his brother's? There's just 2 of them. They invented the airplane. What are their names? That's history.
Owen. Oh, I thought that's what you said. Olin. William.
No.
Robbie.
No. It starts with a W.
Wilbur.
Wilbur. You didn't say that.
Well, good job, Allie.
I heard that word.
No, you can't do that. No, you can't be doing that to me now.
Writing on metal is called...
While writing on metal, you got to explain it a little bit better.
If you are writing and you're not writing on a paper, but you're writing in metal, what do you call what you're doing? What's it called to write on metal?
Engraving.
Engraving, that's true.
That's one.
Well, that's
I'll accept
true
that,
too,
but it's etching.
Etching, okay. Okay.
But I'll accept engraving too,
Yeah, I think you should.
since she said it.
Listen at you.
A daffodil, and I asked you one time about a pig's digs. A daffodil's digs, or place of rest, is a, where do you find daffodils?
Well,
in a what?
Field.
Yeah, you do find them in fields.
But I gave you a clue. Where do they rest?
In the dirt.
Flower beds.
Flower beds.
What? It's a bed. It's a bed.
Okay, beds.
It's a bed. You rest in a bed. If I'm ready, I'm loaded for blank. Say someone there, well, you're loaded for 4 letters.
Is this from the 1930s or something?
Yeah, 1930s.
It must be. I've never heard
I
of
don't
it.
know. I didn't think you had.
Yeah.
But it came to me. You say somebody, well, boy, you're ready. Yeah, you say I'm loaded for.
The game,
No,
the bases.
no, it's an animal. Okay, let's go.
Loaded for the lines.
Bear.
Bear. Dang it. The way you looked, I
Loaded
thought I
for
guessed
bear.
right.
Loaded for bear.
No, I didn't know that one.
Last one. If you're at an auction and you see action going on,
Okay.
what is it you hear? Auction.
I mean, it's auctioneers saying, I
Okay,
can't
but
impersonate them, but
Action is going on. What do you hear? Somebody does.
they're bidding.
They're bidding. They're bidding.
All right.
That is my. You did
Good
well.
job. Good job, Billy.
Well. I'll have to say you did. Okay, we get to do some sports now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to talk about golf.
Whoa, did you guys just hear that thunder?
Was that what that was? I thought the roof was caving in.
Just let the TV viewers know today it is really pouring down the rain out there, isn't it? Radio listeners too.
It looks damp. The high-flying Atlanta Braves are still in first place. They have a 3-game lead over the Washington Nationals. While on the West Coast, my Los Angeles Dodgers are in second place.
Yeah, we talked about them gradually improving.
Well, they got up to about a game and a half, but now they're 2.5 out of first place.
Well, that's not bad.
Football, no, Tennessee football. I had to go to the doctor yesterday in Chattanooga. John Ward died. John Ward, the voice of the
Yeah,
Vols.
when?
Wednesday. But now listen,
How did I not know that?
John Ward,
Yeah.
John Ward became the voice of the Vols basketball in '65. 3 years later, he was cast as the broadcaster of the Tennessee football program. He was there in place from '68 to '98. Guess what happened in '98?
I don't know.
We won the championship.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do know that.
I'm
I
saying he
remember
went
that.
out on a good note.
He sure
That was his
did.
last year to be the voice of the Vols.
Well, yeah, he did.
But he died Wednesday at 87.
I did not
But
know
listen,
that.
I'm in
No.
Chattanooga yesterday to see
Right.
my heart specialist. Billboards are all over Chattanooga, and they have a big picture of Mr. John Ward with a checkerboard in the background, and his date of birth, 1930, and date of death, 2018.
Wow.
That's
Already.
all. No
Yeah.
words. But
Yeah.
John Ward is remembered for some of his catchphrases. It was he who came up with, as the team came out on the field, it's Tennessee, it's football time in Tennessee.
That's
what
right.
It's
That's
football
right.
time in Tennessee. Then when he would be calling basketball games and one of our players put the ball in the hoop, he'd say, bottom.
Yeah. I
Or
remember
he'd
that.
say, let's see. He had another one for basketball. I don't remember what it was. But whenever he would score a touchdown in a football game, he'd say, "Give him 6.
Yeah.
Give
yeah.
him 6." I can't remember what.
In basketball, he'd say, give him 2.
It was good for a basketball shot, or it was bottom.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Yeah.
Those were the little isms that he came up with.
That's true.
That makes us remember him. But anyway, I was amazed to see billboards up the next day
I know.
after he died.
But, you know, he's a legend, though.
Yeah, he was.
So I'm not that surprised.
Well, now Bob Kessling, and I'm not
Right.
in any way downgrading him, but to me, John Ward was the most famous
Yes,
of all the men that's ever taken a mic
I agree with that.
for Tennessee.
I agree with that.
Of course, he had a whole lot of years there to work.
Well, that's true.
Okay, football rankings. In the top 25, the SEC has 6 teams ranked out of 14.
That's good, but that's common.
We
a lot
have
of times.
3 in the top 10. Alabama number 1, Georgia number 3, Auburn number 7.
That's really good, though.
That's good. 3 out of the top 10. That's a third of the top 10 teams
That's
are out of
right.
the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, that's
Does
really
that tell you where football is in SEC?
Exactly.
We are back where we should have been.
I agree.
It took us a while to get
Took
back.
a while. We
It
just
took a
get
while.
Tennessee back.
And this little item just blew my mind when I cut it out. You remember Bobby Bonilla? He's 55 years old, but he played for the Mets. Bobby
Okay, no.
Bonilla.
It's not what I'm thinking.
And he was an all-star, but he is getting a deferred payment from the Mets on July the 1st of this year of $1,193,248.20, and will get that check every July the 1st till 2035.
Wow.
That's deferred payment that they owe him, that they're just now kicking in gear.
Yeah.
He's 55
That's
years old.
very strange. That's strange.
It just blew my mind. But I cut it
does
out.
mine too.
I wanted to have proof.
Let's take a real quick break. We'll be right back.
This is Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative's 804 square mile service area, which covers all of Bledsoe and Sequatchie counties and portions of Van Buren, Cumberland, and Hamilton counties. The dots on the map are our 146 central office locations connected via fiber optics, which is the foundation of our existing network. Our network currently allows all members to choose broadband internet services with unlimited data usage and download speeds up to 10 megabits, leaving none of our members considered unserved with broadband services, as it is currently defined as not having services available that allow 4 megabits per second download and 1 megabit per second upload. The highlighted areas of the map represent completed fiber-ready projects. From the Fiber Foundation, we are currently building what is known as the Last Mile, Fiber to the Home, which connects every member with an individual fiber connection, allowing them to choose the broadband services with unlimited data usage and speeds up to 1 gigabit per second for their home or business. In 2008, Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative began designing and building all new service areas as Fiber to the Home. A hybrid network design proved to be the most cost-efficient for the last phases of the network foundation in the most sparsely populated areas. Connecting our most remote members with an individual fiber connection during this phase of the network upgrade is why some of our most rural areas became fiber-ready before our towns, which is shown with these highlighted areas. Other fiber-to-the-home areas highlighted here have been built to meet business needs for our customers who signed up for broadband services with unlimited data usage and speeds of 100 megabit and 1 gigabit per second to conduct business from their homes. Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative is here to serve the members. Our current projects in Pikeville and Dunlap have the distribution fiber already in place in all of Pikeville and a large portion of Dunlap, setting for timely installs as members in these areas sign up for faster broadband packages now. Our most ambitious fiber-to-the-home project, outlined in orange, is currently underway in Dunlap, a complete cutover which connects every customer on an individual fiber connection as the distribution fiber is being placed. Better broadband and video services can then be added, often with just a call to the office. Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, building the best network in the world, right here in the Sequatchie Valley.
We're back. Welcome back to the Albert and Billy Show on WUAT Radio, Channel 18, Valley TV, and YouTube. Is this about, what are we talking about next? Archie Manning, or what you got? You got all kinds of stuff going on here, don't you? Is that who we're talking about next? All right.
Do you know Mr. Archie Manning?
Well, not personally, but I do know him.
He's 69 now.
And he's the daddy of Peyton and Eli.
And Cooper.
Oh, okay. Didn't know. Well, I think I knew that now that you said it.
Yeah. But anyway,
he didn't play in college though, did he?
I don't think. Maybe just minutely.
Okay.
But he's into something else. But anyway, Archie, 1 year back, probably 40 years ago or plus, he was playing for the University of Mississippi. Archie.
Yeah, he played for Ole Miss.
He was the quarterback. And they were getting ready to come to Knoxville to play. And people were asking in the press, I know what you're going to say, yeah. What do you think about this team coming from Mississippi with that quarterback that can scramble and just do anything he wants to do? And they asked Mr. Kiner, Steve Kiner was our All-America candidate at linebacker.
Right.
And they asked him what he thought about Archie Manning, and his answer was, Archie who?
Oh, that was a big mistake.
And so somebody wrote the song, The Ballad of Archie Who. And it hit the airwaves, going right and left. And when they got to Knoxville that Saturday, they demolished Tennessee.
I knew you was going to say that.
Tennessee didn't score a point. I think they got about 40.
Oh, well, the last thing you want to do is motivate the other team.
That's stupid.
It was very stupid of him to say that. I bet he regrets that.
They interviewed Mr. Kiner here just about a year ago. He realizes what a mistake he made.
I bet he does.
But it's too late now.
I bet his teammates were like, don't ever open your mouth again.
Well, back in 1971, yesterday was NFL draft day. Or NBA, what was it? NBA draft, or I believe it was in basketball, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm not 100% sure.
The NFL draft day in 1971, he said he went to the Ole Miss athletic department on that day, and he heard where Jim Plunkett had been selected as number one. And 15 minutes later, he's drafted by the Saints in New Orleans. And he said, I talked to the owner. They called me. I talked to the owner and the general manager and the coach. And then I went to my 10 o'clock class, and that was it. That was him signing up for the NFL draft.
Wow.
That's all that took place. Nothing else.
I didn't realize that.
But he is the preeminent sports dad. Yet last Sunday was Father's Day.
True.
And he has 3 sons. Cooper's 44, Peyton is 42, and Eli's 37.
And I see there where it says Cooper, the TV personality, so maybe that's what he does. Okay. Yeah. Didn't know that.
But they finally got him down where they could ask him some questions for this. This came out of a sports insert in the paper.
Okay.
And everybody's been asking, what's Peyton going to do?
Yeah, I know.
And they asked his dad personally, do you think he will coach? And his answer was, he would be a good coach.
Yes.
But I don't know if it's anything he'll do.
Actually, he's saying, but I don't think it's anything he'll do. So he's saying he don't think he will coach.
He's got no vibes coming from Peyton that's what he wants to do. And
that's very
at this point, Peyton could have cashed in on his name and his fame pretty quickly had he wanted to.
But it's not like he doesn't have options. He's filthy rich. Let's face it, he doesn't have to do anything if he doesn't want to.
He's still doing commercials.
Yeah, and they pay him no telling how much money to do that. So he's set for life. He doesn't have to do anything.
Doesn't have to. Well, and then they ask him about his son Eli. How much longer do you think Eli will play? His answer's not evasive, but they're just matter of fact. He says, well...
It's like he just doesn't know.
Well, it depends on his health. If he can keep his health, he can play longer.
Yes.
Because he's throwing the ball harder. He's 37. He said at 36 he had more velocity on the ball than he did at 26.
Okay. Well, then
so he's saying he could, but he said the important thing is what kind of a team are they going to put on the field around him?
That's very true.
Because old quarterbacks become easy prey for fast linebackers. So you've got to have the team in place to protect your quarterback.
It's weird that we're calling him an old quarterback. He's just 37.
But
I mean, I guess a better term is a veteran, I guess. Yeah. In sports, you can retire at 40 and be set for the rest of your dang life, Papa.
You don't see many people.
Not fair.
You don't see many people playing past 40.
No.
In football.
And most of them, they don't have to do anything else if they don't want to.
Well, what about that baseball player getting over $1 million every year from now to 1935?
Yeah.
Bobby Bonilla. I don't think he's all that outstanding. Do you?
You said to 2035 he'll get paid that?
And this is 2018.
Oh,
For 17 more years, he's going to get over $1 million every July 1st.
No, that's insane.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, they can retire young and they're good the rest of their life.
Why didn't you take up golf?
I don't know. It should have. Definitely should have.
Golf, you can win over $2 million.
I know it. And it's not that strenuous.
Well, have to walk the whole course.
Yeah, but bless their hearts, I tell you.
It takes about 4 hours. And then Cooper is on ESPN, and I've never have seen him.
I didn't realize that.
He's also on Fox.
Did not know that.
But he's always wanted and liked comedy, and so he told his dad, said when he got out of Ole Miss, he went to Ole Miss.
Okay.
And he said, I want to go out to Los Angeles, I want to try my hand at comedy. And so he did. And,
go for it.
But he said, now you know you lost your mind, son.
Is that what he said?
But he's doing a good job, he said. He's funny. They have a restaurant.
Who would have thought? Yeah, in New Orleans, I see.
They have a restaurant in New Orleans. And Peyton said when we opened, we decided we did not want a sports bar.
Okay.
So we're just going to be a restaurant that has a sports theme with all of us being into sports.
Right. Okay.
So he said about a year and a half later, they called the restaurant to talk to the manager. And he said, all right, what's everybody ordering? Well, they're ordering cheeseburgers and French fries and nachos and chicken wings. Archie said, well, we got us a sport bar anyway.
That's funny and true. That's a very good point.
I cut this out today, and this is just a sign it's a sign of the times.
Oh, wait, the whole country does it in Canada?
Yeah, in Canada.
I figured it'd be, what are their states called up there, provinces?
Provinces.
Okay. But so they're just doing the whole country, though, looks like. It
says Canada, and it's going to be October the 17th. They have voted to legalize marijuana.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
They have voted to legalize marijuana.
I'm just getting this microphone on you a little bit more.
Nationwide, October the 17th. The government is committed to better protecting Canada's youth and hopes to draw money away from organized crime. Of course, it's something, I guess, about like what Prohibition was.
Yes.
Prohibition was implemented, put in place to make it legal for people to buy whiskey instead of it being bought illegally.
Really?
The taxation.
Okay.
And that's what he's saying about marijuana.
Yes, yes.
Don't you know people that want marijuana can go get it anywhere they want it?
Exactly. So why not make some money off of it? You know.
Anyway, it's going to be coming up October.
Canada, and like I was saying, I mean that's interesting. I figured, you know, the U.S. each state decides, and their province is in Canada, but I guess the whole country just said, all right.
The whole northern part of the United States may see an influx of people transferring to live in Canada.
I think you might be on to something there. This next story I see is very interesting.
What about this?
Yeah.
I was worried, I'm not going to say I was worried, but I had noted that because of the snafu that Roseanne did about what she said about that lady,
right?
It caused the show to be canceled. It caused about 200 people to be job hunting.
Yeah.
So this came out today.
And I'm not saying what she said was right, but I've heard other celebrities say just as bad stuff, if not worse, and they weren't reprimanded for it. They definitely didn't lose their show over it.
Well, so this is a country where you have freedom of speech.
I know.
But I guess it's who she directed this toward.
Well, she definitely should have kept the thought though to herself. Being in the position she's in, she should have known that that was a possibility.
Well, it was a no-no.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they're going to.
We're talking about Roseanne Barr, folks.
It's going to be a go, and it's going to be a spin-off
without her.
Minus, it's going to be called the Connors.
Okay.
Their last name.
That'll be very interesting to see how they write this and what's going to happen to her character. That's going to be very interesting.
That character dies, I guess.
That's a possibility.
Or maybe aliens came and got her and took her to another country, another planet.
That'd be a funny storyline. She got abducted by aliens.
It says the revival of the hit 88 through 97 sitcom Roseanne was swiftly axed by ABC last month after Barr posted a tweet likening that advisor to a product of the Muslim Brotherhood and the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
So this is an attempt to let all those other people that were involved have a job.
That's right. It wasn't their fault she said that.
And I'm hopeful that it'll make a go.
I do too. It was actually doing very well in the ratings. Very, very well.
And you're talking about in the 80s.
She goes and does that.
That was back in the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, 88 to 97, and then they brought it back, you know, and it was doing really well, and then she goes and does that.
And the same man, too. Tom.
Yes, all of them are back. So it'll be very interesting to see what direction they go in this with the characters.
Okay, I want to tell you this.
So we are on Albertology.
We're on Albertology.
All right.
Yeah, I'm off. Well, but you thought
Archie Manning. Yeah, that tripped me up a little bit.
AT&T has been awarded the approval to buy out Time Warner for $85 billion.
That's it. That's unreal.
When I read, and Trump and the Justice Department tried to block it. They said it would be too much monopolizing going on. It wouldn't be fair to the competition, is what they were saying.
Well,
for you to have all this.
Exactly. And that's a fair point.
Well, here was the decision.
Okay.
AT&T owns DirecTV already.
I didn't even know that.
And they said they needed this other edition to compete in the today's world that they are living in.
Okay.
So that was their argument. We need it. So would people spend more time today watching video on phones and tablets than on watching live TV?
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I believe it, but it's just crazy.
That's what they say. So what they have done with the acquisition of Time Warner, AT&T gets CNN, Warner Brothers Movie Studio, Game of Thrones,
very popular show,
coveted sports programming, and other must-see shows for $85 billion.
Wow.
So the government failed to give ample evidence to prove that this merger would harm their opponents. So
that'll be interesting to see how that plays out as well.
And since our producer is so attuned to Stan Lee, Stan Lee's 95 years old now, and Stan Lee's the one that has given us some into the characters from
Allie, now Allie, you'll have to hear this story before we do
I'll
jokes.
Let her read it. I'll let her read it.
I bet she was like devastated.
This is hard to believe, but he's
because Allie's all about the Marvel now, Marvel characters.
The Marvel characters. She can tell you every one of them he's drawn, I guess. But here's the thing about it: a man by the name of
Stan Lee?
No, Kia Morgan, K-E-Y-A Morgan, just appeared and kind of just put himself into the position of manager of his affairs.
Oh,
and
really?
like I say, Stan is 95.
Yeah.
Can't hear very good, about like me. And the police found out about it, and they arrested him and accused him of abusing Stan Lee.
He probably was.
Not in a nursing home or anything, not in any facility like that. But he's been acting as his business manager and and personal advisor, and nobody knows how he got that position.
Oh, wow.
So the restraining order got him, and because he put himself into the life of Stan Lee, and we don't know how. But this restraining order accuses him of taking advantage of his bad hearing, his bad vision, his bad judgment.
And no telling how much money that he stole from Mr. Lee either.
Moved him out of his home.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Prevented his family from seeing him. That's what got everybody alerted.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't let anybody contact him. Because he was managing his affairs, you see.
Yeah, he wanted all that money for himself.
So he was arrested Monday.
Good. I hope they throw the book at him.
Well, I hope they do too.
Because that's not right.
McDonald's in Britain, they're switching to paper straws. I told you this here a while back. This is just in Britain. Just at McDonald's. They have 1,361 locations.
Man.
In Britain.
Yeah. They're everywhere.
The plastic straws, each year in Britain, they say that 1 million birds and 100,000 sea mammals die from eating or getting tangled up in the plastic every year.
Oh, so
they want to do away. They want to do away with it. More than 40 countries around the world have introduced measures to restrict or reduce plastic.
I'm glad. That's sad right there. That's sad.
Well,
and a lot of people don't realize that that's going on.
I read by the year 2035 that
what is it with 2035 today?
I don't know. But it said that by then there will be half as much plastic, pound-wise, in the ocean as there is sea life.
Okay, well then this is the right thing to do. They should have done it a long time
plastic
ago.
Straws don't weigh anything.
Well, no.
I'm just saying that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. But
Whoever
I'm glad
invented-
they're at least acknowledging it
Whoever
and doing
invented
something
plastic
about
thought
it.
they were doing something good.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
And they probably did for a while. Charles Krauthammer died. I told you the other day on our program that he said, "I've just got a few weeks to live."
Oh, he died.
And so he died yesterday. He
Man,
said
we just
that-
talked about that last week. Gosh.
Bless his heart, he was such a smart man, such a smart man.
Oh, I hate to hear that.
Well, anyway.
Well, let's do some jokes.
All right.
That'll cheer us up a little bit.
Here we go. I want you to listen to this one.
Well, I sure will.
In November, people in California will vote on whether they want to break the state up into 3 states. Have you been hearing about that? They want to divide California into 3 states.
I said do a joke.
Well, you wait, little.
It's a joke.
But this is legal. I mean, they're going to do
So
this.
this is not a joke, though, is what I'm
It's
saying.
going to wind up one.
It is? Okay. I'm waiting for the
Listen,
punchline.
The 3 states are going to be
Oh, gosh.
Northern California,
Okay.
Southern California,
Shoot.
and Kardashian.
Oh, Kardashian.
Kardashian.
Oh, let me see that.
Kardashian.
Yeah, Kardashian. No, that was a good one. And you were so serious, I thought you was really telling me a story there. That was a good one,
I thought
Pawpaw.
that's pretty good.
That was.
What's the difference between a hippo and a zippo?
Allie, what's the difference between a hippo and a zippo?
Hips.
A hippo and a zippo.
Well, a hippo is big, fat, and ugly, and a zippo's not. How about that?
You're close. You're close.
Am I? Okay.
One of them is really heavy, and one of them's a little lighter. A little lighter.
I was pretty close then. That's good. That's good.
Okay.
Let's hear the wife or girlfriend.
A wife or girlfriend.
Yeah, that sounds good.
A physicist, a mathematician, and a computer scientist discuss what is better, a wife or a girlfriend. So the physicist says, a girlfriend, you still have freedom to experiment.
Right.
The mathematician counters and says, no, a wife, you have security.
Right. Okay, 2 good points.
The computer scientist says, both. When I'm not with my wife, she thinks I'm with my girlfriend. With my girlfriend, it's vice versa.
Right.
And I can be with my computer without anyone disturbing me.
Well, that's the best one yet.
Okay.
That even tops the California joke there.
The nurse comes in and says, Doctor, there's a man in the waiting room who thinks he's invisible. What should I tell him? The doctor says, well, just tell him I can't see him today.
That's right. These are good.
Can't see him today and can't see him tomorrow either.
That's right. You don't have to worry about him.
A man opens his door and finds a snail on his front porch. I found one today when I lifted up my garbage can
Oh,
lid.
did you?
And it was right there on my lid, and I picked up a stick and I flipped him off.
Well, you can put the salt to them, and
Yeah, they don't like salt, do they?
no, they don't. Not at all.
Do people put salt on them before they eat them? What are snails called when you eat them?
Escargot.
Escargot. I still won't make me want to eat one.
No. You know what? I will admit,
You've eaten
when
it.
I was on a cruise, I did try it.
Come on. Escargot?
I did, and it really wasn't bad. But the problem is you can't get it out of your mind that I'm
What
eating a
you
snail. Yeah, this tastes pretty good, but dang, it's a snail. You know, so I won't eat it again.
No.
Let's put it that way.
I don't like oysters. Carolyn did. But I like shrimp.
Yeah, I do too.
But let me tell you something. I don't like clams.
No.
I don't like
No.
mussels.
No, neither. Oh, mussels are terrible, terrible.
But they say they're a big thing.
I've heard that.
I tried to buy one time, but I couldn't get it down.
Well, okay, good, because I've tried that too, and I couldn't either.
But this man did about what I did. A man opens his door and finds a snail on his front porch. He picks it up and throws it across the street. A year later, listen, the man opens his door and finds the same snail
The same
on
one a
his
year
front
later.
porch. And the snail says, "What was that all about?"
Oh man, that's good too.
The snail and the turtle got into it. One was going down the road, and next thing you knew, they were all tangled up. And the police came and asked the snail, "What happened?" And he said, "I don't know, it happened so fast."
Oh gosh, Allie, these jokes are very good today. These are some of the best ones you've told. We'll tell one more.
I'm going to tell you one more. And this didn't happen too long ago. The finals of the NBA between the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
That's true.
All right,
just a few weeks ago.
Did you see the game last night? Game 2 of the NBA Finals? The Golden State Warriors beat up on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Not a pretty sight. Steph Curry set an all-time finals record with 9 three-pointers. 2 of them he shot from the parking lot as he was getting in his car.
I agree. I tell you what, he might as well have that.
That was Jimmy Kimmel on his
Oh,
night
he's
show.
funny anyway. Yeah, he was on fire that night. It was crazy.
9 three-pointers.
I know.
All right.
Well, those, I gotta give you props. Those were your best jokes yet, I do believe. So
I enjoyed listening. I enjoyed listening to you laugh.
They were good. All right, well, that's it for this edition of the Albert and Billy Show. We want to thank our guests once again for joining us earlier about the front page news.
That was very interesting.
We'll be traveling over there to see that, so just keep that in mind. That'll be a future episode.
Next month, be less than a month away.
Yeah, the Albert and Billy Show. Going on the road, Allie. That'll be good. But once again, thanks to our guests, and thanks for listening to us on WUAT and watching on Channel 18 Valley TV. We'll see you next time, folks, right here on the Albert and Billy Show.
See you.